Okay, we're going to talk to this display of swivel guns presented by John Morris. We'll go up and take a look. Swivel guns are used frequently on the old sailing ships to defend against people they didn't want to come on board. So we call them anti-personnel weapons. And we'll go down here and start looking at the signs. You can kind of read for yourself, I think. Pause it if you want and see what the signs say. We've got limited time and footage, so I won't go into detail on that. But we will look at some of the big signs here. Look at some of the ship battles that these, some of the swivel guns participated in. Not these particular swivel guns. We don't really have a provenance that accurate on any of them, but I'm sure, like they say, if they had a story to tell, it would be pretty exciting in some cases. But the name of the display is Swivel Guns, and here's something about the U.S. Navy record battles that were kind of decided, to a certain extent at least, by swivel guns. Here's probably one of the first, and where swivel guns were extremely important was the Bonhomme Richard capturing the Serapis in the Revolutionary War. Of course, John Paul Jones being the captain of the Bonhomme Richard, they kept everybody off the deck of the Serapis. Their fire from the swivel guns they had in their fighting top was so murderous that everybody on the Serapis exposed deck was either killed, severely wounded, or got smart and went below, and could only fight from below using the big guns. Here's another one, Constitution versus Guerriere in the War of 1812. Depended to a certain extent on swivel guns to turn the tide in the favor of the U.S. The last sign here talks about why studying swivel guns is somewhat challenging. You can read that for yourself. I'd like to, now here's some references on swivel guns. You can, again, I won't narrate the titles, you can read them for yourself. Good books talking about swivel guns. And I'll just go down briefly and kind of summarize the sign. Here's a Dutch swivel gun that's about 2.5 feet long, and it dates from 1755, made by Peters East in Amsterdam, and has Amsterdam marks. It's made of bronze and has dolphins on top. See that? It's a half pounder with about a 1.6 inch bore. And here's another one that we think is English, probably 1760 or so. It's about a little over 2.5 feet long, weighs about 100 pounds, and is made out of bronze. It has very nice smooth lines. It's just very, very well made and finished. Nice green patina on it. Here's a very old one that's probably going on 40 inches long, weighs about 130 pounds. It's Dutch. Okay, again, this one's made by Cornelis Oederoge in Rotterdam in 1654. Okay. And his name and all the data I mentioned are back here on the base ring and cast right in. It's got nice Dutch dolphins, kind of a pretty design with a nice green patina on it. This is one we don't know too much about, a blunderbuss bored swivel gun. See the conical bore? And it's got a stanchion mounting built right into it. That will mount right on a stanchion post on the ship. It's a fairly small light gun. It's only about 55 pounds, and it's very short also. 18-inch barrel, about a 1-inch bore. I don't know who used that, but it's probably English made for merchant ships or pirates or whatever, you know. Here's a gun-age shaped swivel gun that weighs about 130 pounds. It's about a 2-inch bore, and it has an English crown on it. And so we think it's probably English, but it's really not British government, or it would have to have different markings. Here's a very interesting Chinese breech-loading swivel gun, probably from around 1690 or so. And there's an extensive amount of writing under here that I've had translated, but it's really too extensive to go into. It talks about who made it, when, what wonderful sound it made when it fired, etc. Long text, many characters. And it's about a 1.3 inch bore. Here's a big heavy thing, weighs about 240 pounds. We think it's American. It's a heavy swivel gun, 1 pounder. It has a little over a 2 inch bore. And here's the tiller connection. The tiller's been broken off, but you can see how it was mounted. They had a wrought iron rig with a tiller pole coming out the back that's been broken off, that's actually held on with a wrought iron pin. And the markings are pretty bad, but I think it says something like 246 for the weight, and also has an NO period number that we can no longer read, but we think that may be American, probably circa 1812. Real quickly, here's a heavy English swivel gun with a crown on top. Probably again merchant ship, probably not military, but in nice shape with the original swivel mounting. Wrought iron. Cast iron gun on wrought iron mount. Small light iron one, very similar to the one a couple back. More extensive markings, T, B, and S over L. The original iron, wrought iron yoke, and the original small wrought iron tiller, which is very unusual to find all the original mounting stuff on any swivel gun. Here's one that's French, circa 1790. It's very similar to the model 1786 next to it, but it has that extra ring, and it has a larger bore. And I have never seen any documentation on this model, but I've seen a total of 6 of them. So further research is required. Here's the standard French model 1786 heavy swivel gun, 1 pounder. It's about, I think, 40 inches long. It weighs about 170 pounds, 175, on a reproduction wrought iron mount, which is made to the same design as an original that's in France. This has an interesting wrought iron feature around the vent that we don't understand. Looks like it was added after the thing was cast. We don't know why. Here's quite a rare swivel howitzer, a 6 pounder. It weighs about 190 pounds. It has a 3.7 inch bore. Centerline trunnions. The marks on it, we can tell are French from the partial words we can read. We can also see a date of 1758 when it was made. It has a wrought iron tiller that's integral with the weapon. Here's a cannon with tail, which is a French official naval weapon pattern from about 1756. There are 2 examples that I've found in the world, this one and another one that I don't know the present location of. They both have the original cast-in tiller cut off. Finally, here's a lighter French swivel gun, circa 1750, that's just the lighter French swivel gun. And I've seen 2 examples of this in the world. This one and one that went up for auction and was sold in North Carolina earlier, let's see, in 2009, I guess it was. There's where the tiller clips on. There's a mounting for a espingole, it's called, as a light French swivel gun. That's the original yoke for one.